12 races down and 1 to go. It's come time to settle a battle that has raged on for weeks. Although one driver in particular has practically locked up the championship, I guess you can say you never know what can happen here at the Canadian Motorsports Network, but tonight we're still making history and we are crowning the second annual Greg Moore Cup champion, and this is the final race for the stars of the Canadian Motorsports Network Dart Series to have one final shot here at glory. Good evening, folks, and welcome aboard the final live production for Season 2 of the Canadian Motorsports Network Dart Series on iRacing. It's round 13 of 13 of the running for the 2023 Greg Moore Cup. It's the Grand Prix of Monterey at Weathertech Raceway Laguna Seca in Monterey County, California. The Dart Series season finale. And now we will go trackside here. I guess that's the way to put it here with our faces. Hello and welcome to the broadcast booth here. One last time. We'll be here later anyways, but I'll still say it one last time here. Broadcast booth for Canadian Motorsports Network. I'm the main voice, Regan McCauley from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. The other side over here. He's been here since the very beginning. On the other side, well, he was on the other side of the country in Alberta, but now he's back home for the holidays. It is Jordy Caraher, my color commentator. Now, Jordy, the video that I played before the pre-race show that we're having here, when we flashing back to last week's Fontana 250 at Auto Club Speedway. Holy hell, there are too many ways to that we could explain, describe what we witnessed, and it took a lot of patience to get to the carnage that we all saw there at the end, as the first about 115 laps or so were filled with consistent green flag racing, constant back and forth action, since, again, the cars could go full throttle around the whole damn place and remain in a big pack together. And there were some interesting pit strategies as well, and there were some pit penalties for some drivers in particular, unfortunately, and it looked as though we were going to get a battle for the ages with Pulsar Dylan Baum and fellow championship contender CD Magram ready to duke it out for the win, but a pack of cars charging at them had a ticking time bomb finally blow up, as it was like a 6, 7, 8 car pack that was just trying to charge up against those two of Baum and Magram, and ended up causing Andy Hurdle, Kyle Knoll, and Mike Marini to be the victims of a big pileup in Turn 1, but that wasn't the end of it. A 5-lap shootout to decide a winner, and coming to the checkered flag at a Turn 4, 6 cars log-jammed together, and you couldn't possibly guess what was going to happen next, as every single car crashed. And behind them was a hard-charging points leader in Charlie Sears, and he beat everyone except one car. So, yeah, somehow, Ty Higginbotham's destroyed race car skidded across the line just in time to take the win. And in my time as a broadcaster for the Canadian Motorsports Network, or color commentator, whatever it may be, that finish was by far the best I've ever witnessed. And, Georgie, you must have similar thoughts to what you consider to be the greatest example of dumbest stuff on wheels, like you said during last week's broadcast. And I might as well show right here, too.
Hey, nobody said the 4 wheels had to be intact, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, 300ths of a second, I believe, was 26, 1,000, something like that. That's how you put it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me your overall thoughts, buddy.
I mean, if I was on my regular production, I'd still probably have the Owen Wilson graphic up. But,
yes.
I mean, that pretty well sums it up better than I could. It was just utter carnage at the very end. And yeah, ultimately, produced a, very eventful, to say the very least, finish. And yeah, you talk about that being the craziest finish you've seen. Yeah, I can go back multiple seasons and absolutely agree with that.
For sure. And now we are going to take a look here. One last time, we're going to be looking at race results here after tonight. No more of that for a little while. But here are the results from the first annual Fontana 250. Ty Higginbotham always finds a way to win races with the most destructive and chaotic finishes imaginable. You can straight up go back to the second Daytona race, the regular season finale in Season 4 of the NASCAR series. You'll understand what I mean when I say that when you go back. Yeah. Charlie Sears had a rough qualifying effort, but he charged to the front and never looked back. The wreck at the end was like the racing gods opened the floodgates, as he was in 7th, 2 seconds behind the leader when everything happened. And again, he beat everyone but the mangled U.S. Air Force Toyota in Ty Higginbotham. CD Mangrum went from qualifying 4th to being in 2nd with 10 laps to go, to having a car go flying over him come to the checkered flag, and he still was able to finish on the podium on the bottom end. So interesting right there. Still skidded across the line for his first podium finish since November 21st at Road America. Hunter Young had his best performance since the Indianapolis 250 with a 4th place finish after qualifying 12th. He was not afraid to make things dicey at the end. An absolute underdog performance from him once again. Again, especially on the ovals too, carrying on that experience from the NASCAR series. Corbett McCauley and Dylan Baum both qualified on the front row and led a combined 114 of the 125 laps. Unfortunately, the racing gods wouldn't allow their statistical dominance to conquer Auto Club. Darcy Ford ran a solid race and even led 4 laps, and when he did, he made a hell of a charge from the back to the front within a span of, 2 or 3 laps or something. And Jordy, I think I even remember we were covering something else while we were watching him the whole time, so go figure right there. But Darcy Ford settling for 7th. Jose Mercado was another one of these 6 drivers at the end fighting for the win, and he too impressed with, again, his aggressive driving style, which again, back in the NASCAR series wasn't really doing him much favors, but this time around in the Dart series, it's actually been, he's been taking it to his advantage, and it's actually been working for him, so not too shabby right there. But again, he failed to cross the line to the checkered flag due to that incident, of course. Daniel Cudmore and Mark Ouellette fell multiple laps down due to pit road penalties, but they both managed top 10 finishes. Ouellette's finish was especially heartbreaking as he consistently ran up front during the first half of the race. Knoll, Hurdle, and Marini were the unfortunate victims of the one and only caution of the race, with Hurdle in particular going for a wild ride. Everyone else on the board did not participate. And now we'll take a look here at the championship points standings, I guess technically one last time here once again. After 12 of 13 rounds, Charlie Sears is 42 points ahead of Dylan Baum. And yeah, again, mathematically speaking, all he has to do is just start tonight and he's practically good. But with that being said, don't get so easily bored when you hear that, because again, there's battles going on all across the championship point standings, because 4 points are separating Dylan Baum and last week's winner Ty Higginbotham for the 2nd position, so still a battle going on the championship point standings podium. CD Mangrum is 16 points behind Higginbotham and will need to pull off some miracles if he wants a spot on the season-end championship podium. And then 16 points behind Mangrum is Andy Hurdle, who will look to rebound after last week's late incident. Notably, Hurdle will be running a different racing setup tonight as he recently bought some new gear, so we'll see how well he can adjust and transition to that setup for the championship finale. Corbett McCauley and Mike Marini are going to have a battle for 6th. There's 4 drivers in battles between 8th and 11th, including Mercado, Ford, Daniel Cudmore, Hunter Young, and then Jason Butler and Kyle Knoll are in their own fight there for the 12th position. And now moving on to the Rookie of the Year standings, also more than likely going to be going to Charlie Sears. Quite frankly, everyone might remain where they currently are, but you never know what could happen. And then, once I get here, the manufacturer's standings, it saw Toyota lead the way for up to 10 races in a row, and then Charlie Sears' recent dominance was able to help Chevrolet create a heated battle back at Auto Club. But after Auto Club, Toyota has retaken the lead by just 10 points. So, if Dylan Baum unable to go for a championship, he still has an opportunity here to help out his manufacturer in Toyota. I mean, Baum and Higginbotham on that podium. There's Sears in the Chevrolet and then Baum and Higginbotham on the Toyota. So that's 2 versus 1. We'll have to see how that plays out here tonight. And then we won't really bother talking about... Whoopsies, back. We won't really bother talking about this one in particular because if you can do some quick math, or you just straight up look at the first digit of these 2 numbers... You know who's already taken it. We mathematically awarded it weeks ago. Congratulations to the United States on absolutely shredding Canada, aka the Canadian E-Motorsports Network home country. So, I mean, you look at the faces on each side there between the United States and Canada, and it's pretty obvious. You got Higginbotham, Sears, Mangrum, Baum, and Mercado for the United States. An absolutely lethal and elite driver group right there.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that group and, the first thought is that song from Team America, right? The one we probably can't broadcast on the air.
No, because
Yeah.
there's a certain term. It's called copyright.
Well, that among many other reasons, yeah.
So with all of that being said, now track side here as qualifying did begin a couple minutes ago. We were a little bit late due to some technical issues, but we are here on the track. We might as well talk about the track as the drivers are qualifying.
Yeah, maybe throw the, usually this would be kind of where the ride-along video goes, but maybe in between while you're giving the commands, I can give more of the detail.
That is actually true, yes. But anyways, what in the world, or where in the world are we at, and what is this all about? We would have the schedule graphic up, but there's absolutely no time to do that. But anyways, tonight's event is, of course, round 13, the season finale, the Grand Prix of Monterey at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. One last chance of road course glory for the superstars of the Dart Series. One last time for us to witness the speedy Dallara IR01's run under this 10-minute qualifying format, which is already halfway through, where free will is the name of the game. You just go around whenever you want within a 10-minute span. It's not the 2-lap format that we had back on the ovals back last week, of course, or the recent stretch that we had where we were at. We had the Iowa doubleheader, we had Pocono, and then we were at Auto Club. But yes, 50 laps here at one of the more popular open wheel facilities in America. The Central California Road Course, which opened in 1957, was the host of this year's season finale for America's real-life top open wheel racing series, which we cannot specify for legal reasons. 2.2 miles, 3.6 kilometers, 180-foot elevation change, and 11 turns, highlighted by the downhill plunging corkscrew in turn 8. There's also the infamous Andretti hairpin in turn 2, I believe it is, which is surrounded by sand and is always an area of carnage, particularly for race starts. Laguna Seca also hosted the championship finale in Season 1 of the Dart Series back when we were on the Project Cars 2 console game. That was won by AJ Knickel, and that was also en route to his championship. But now it's time to experience this fascinating circuit on iRacing, which, quite frankly, if I very quickly go back to last season's results, which actually, I set something up, so I'm going to see if this works here. Yeah. I fixed it up a little bit for legal reasons.
Yeah, no, that is some expert photoshopping work there, sir. Or is that paint?
No, I just straight up just clicked. I clicked add source, and then I put in text, and I just put in Dart.
Hey, that works.
That was not. It was not Dart last season, but we are saying that just again for legal reasons. We do not want to have ourselves shut down because of bad company. There's the corkscrew. The exit right there going off of it. It was a little too slow right there, but anyways, you will be seeing it multiple times here as Kyle Knoll is in the sand. But anyways, I was talking about the results, of course, from then, where only 6 drivers from this season participate in that season finale last season. Then there was Ty Higginbotham, who did not participate, but did drive in the series last season. And I guess might as well. We have 2 minutes remaining here. Why the heck not? Let's go for the ride-along.
Yeah, buddy, let's do it one more time here. So, as you see, we are kind of in the approach on the beginning of the lap. That's turn 1, by the way, very quickly. And now you're into that hairpin that you were talking about, the Andretti hairpin. Almost a full rotation and, yeah, just getting back on the gas. Not the easiest thing coming through turns 3 and 4, but then you get to kind of open things up a little bit, maybe a little wide there from our onboard, whoever that happened to be. Anyway, up to turn 5, and now you start the climb that you were talking about. And this is pretty much just a straight kink here. You can almost take that fully flat out in some games anyway. That was 6, now that's the Rahal straight. And yeah, now this is the corkscrew here. This is the turn everybody knows. So just holding on is the name of the game there. As you come through 9, then it kind of flattens out a little bit for the final couple corners of the lap. You got your pit entry there to the left. And yeah, pretty much 90 degrees here through 11, and it's just a straight up dash to the finish line to complete a lap.
So that is the Laguna Seca ride along right there. And now back trackside with under a minute remaining here in qualifying for the 2023 Grand Prix of Monterey, the season finale for Season 2 of the Dart Series on iRacing. And no surprise whatsoever to see here at the top of the board, the points leader, and I guess you could mathematically just say the champion.
I mean, yeah, what we established before is literally all he had to do was take the green flag and he's got it, which is very much the case here. So there's really no need for any additional suspense. Pole position, if it holds, will just be a further coronation for Charlie Sears after what's been an absolutely remarkable second half of the season.
And so, yeah, joining Sears there on that podium here as qualifying comes to an end, Corbin McCauley and Andy Hurdle right there as well. McCauley has shown some struggles on the road courses and street circuits this season. I mean, there was obviously the season opener back at Barber, yes, where he and Dylan Baum were absolutely going at it within the first 10 laps or so, and McCauley was able to settle for second. And then there was race 2, where he unfortunately crashed out along with Dylan Baum as well. So they both went from dominating together to completely crashing out. And ever since then, McCauley does have 2 wins this season, both coming on ovals. However, so hopefully he'll be looking to end his season on a high note. Hopefully try to take advantage of a little bit more patience here tonight. And it's looking at Hurdle actually jump McCauley right there for the second position. So
we'll get to say we had a change in the order.
Yeah, so with all that being said, we will get to the starting grid once I go get the race control here to send these guys one final hurrah of a message, and then we can get these engines fired up one last time here for Season 2 of the Canadian Motorsports Network Dart Series on iRacing. Once again, the season finale at Laguna Seca. So stay tuned. We will be back with the engines fired up, and we will end this season with one last final hurrah, one last ride. And there you hear it, ladies and gentlemen. The engine's fired up one last time. These beautiful and speedy Dollar IRL1s going to be going at it one last time here in Season 2 of the Dart Series on iRacing. And so, it is time now we get to the starting grid, the final starting grid that we'll be doing here for quite a while, that's for sure. But starting off here on the front row, we have none other than the points leader, and again, we could argue mathematically the champion, but we won't really say that stuff until the end, just in case. The number 32 Chevrolet of Charlie Sears, and starting alongside him will be the number 7 Rolls-Royce of Andy Hurdle, who will look to rebound after going for a wild ride and flipping in turn 1 at Auto Club last week. Moving on now to row 2, where we have the number 17 Honda of Corbin McCauley, who's looked fast here so far here tonight. We'll be looking to address the road course and street circuit demons that have been all over him all across this season, looking to finally, end the season off on a high note, have some good luck here. And alongside him is the number 9 BMW of Jose Mercado, whose consistency has really helped him out so far this season, and he even had the winning speed last week. We'll see what he does here when we return to a road course.
Yeah, and then moving on to row 3, we've got the last of the remaining title challengers in the number 3 Toyota of Dylan Baum rounding up the top 5. Then you've got Indy 250 surprise winner Darcy Ford in the number 64 on his outside. He'll start 6th. And moving on to row 4, we've got last week's survivor as much as winner, the number 97 Toyota of Ty Higginbotham starting in 7th. And he's got CD Mangrum for company. The number 1 BMW starts 8th.
And we might be going green this time, so I'll get through the rest of the grid here. The number 12 Audi of Mike Marini starts 9th, and then rounding at the top 10, the number 77 Chevrolet of Hunter Young, coming off a 4th place finish at Auto Club. And then we got Mark Roulette in 11th, the number 80 Chevrolet, and then Kyle Knowles, number 15, will start alongside him in 12th, and then to wrap it all up, the number 2 Ford of Daniel Cudmore will start in 13th. And okay, no, we're going for one more lap, so might have ended that a little bit prematurely, but I guess maybe might as well, if we got one more pace lap here, Jordy, might as well maybe kind of reflect back on this past season here, Season 2 of the Dart Series on iRacing, the first open wheel season in the history of the network on iRacing. Just kind of, Jordy, what moments so far this season really come to mind, and how are you heading into tonight to reflect back? Just overall, how has it been for you? What have you thought of it? And what are some memories that immediately come to mind? I know that last week for sure is probably number 1, but just talk about anything that just comes to mind.
Yeah, so really it's a tale of 2 seasons, right? We often forget the dominance of Dylan Baum to start the year with, I think it was 3 out of the first 4 that he picked up victories in, but then didn't win again. It's amazing how momentum can shift. I think the Indy 250 was kind of the turning point. Honestly, yeah, Charlie Sears didn't win that one, but it was also a case where had Dylan Baum won that, he significantly extends his lead in the standings, and maybe there isn't as much of a title challenge. But then, once the calendar flips to November, here comes Charlie Sears, the guy that we were kind of expecting all along, and we saw flashes of it at Long Beach, obviously with that win where he very nearly lapped the field, then did it again at Belle Isle, pretty much. And then, yeah, it's basically been no stopping that 32 pretty much ever since. Yeah, sure, he was stopped by a car with, 2.5 functioning wheels last week, but that was, by pure circumstance as much as anything else. But, yeah, ultimately, the guys we kind of expected to come to play, they did. And, Charlie Sears, he found his way to the head of the field, which is where he finds himself right now, as the pace car dipped off, and that's where I will go quiet as we'll see Sears take off here.
The green flag is waving. Here we go. Let's go racing one last time here in Season 2 of the Dart Series on iRacing. Charlie Sears leading the way into turn 2. Andretti hairpin. It looks like everyone's going to get through just fine. Most cars separating between each other. Single file here so far. Again, 50 laps around this 11-corner circuit in Central California. Sears, McCauley, and Hurdle leading the way in the podium positions. A little bit of close action back here, almost side by side. In trouble for Jose Mercado. He goes off the track. Out of turn 5, I believe it was, yes. And he comes back out in 11th. But
yeah,
he's all
that's
right.
A bit of a rough one, especially, the fact that the car was practically beached there, because, again, that's sand as soon as you go off the racing surface. So that's going to be, significantly more difficult to get out of, obviously, compared to a track like Barber, where it was a grass runoff at the start of the year. So this is going to be a significant test to see how far these drivers have come.
Absolutely, building upon the experiences that have been taken all out throughout this season. I mean, again, looking back at the schedule here, like, again, Barber, Long Beach, Canadian Tire, Motorsports Park, Belle Isle, Road America. And again, these guys haven't been on a road course since November 21st at Road America, which I go figure Charlie Sears won that one. But again, it's been pretty much a month. And, it's in trouble for the 97. That's Ty Higginbotham without a front wing. Jose Mercado, I think, might have been collected in that one as well.
We might have to go back and see that one.
Oh, and Dylan Baum's off as well.
All right, so, we were joking about Ty Higginbotham not needing a full car to win last week. It's a little easier to do that on lap, 250 or mile 250 than it is on lap 1 of 50. Just a little different.
So we'll try and get kind of an idea of what happened here on this replay.
Yeah, it looks like he's fine through the hairpin, which easier said than done considering it's a downhill braking point, but let's just see what happens as he winds through 3 and 4. Yeah, just loses it.
And then Mercado was on his own. Yeah, you kind of saw it there.
Like the pit entrance. Or pit exit, I should say.
Lost in the... lost it coming out of the hairpin.
Yeah, that was strange. And then, let's see where Baum gets caught up. So this is 5, I think, turning up the hill.
Yeah, that's up the hill into 6.
Yeah, just got a little too wide coming through 6, trying to make that climb onto the straight.
And I think while we were through those replays, Corbin McCauley had some trouble there because I saw him drop to 3rd. Now he's dropped back as far as 5th. Andy Hurdle up to the 2nd position. And then Charlie Sears is, quite frankly, 7.5 seconds of everyone else.
But, I mean, you've seen it in those 3 incidents already. It takes pinpoint accuracy to get around this track safely.
I think Hunter Young was very close to getting into the back of Kyle Knoll. Had to slow the car down a ton there. Almost lost the brakes. At least that's what I think I saw. But, not the ideal start for a lot of these guys here. Jose Mercado a lap down. Mark Ouellette in 11th is now a lap down here. He might have caught himself up in something while we were not paying attention. Looks like Dylan Baum might be out because he's blank on the timing screen. Ty Higginbotham's still in his box at 2 laps down himself. And C.D. Magram's in trouble too. Oh my gosh, what is happening?
That's the corkscrew monster, it would appear. It's claimed our first victim. Didn't even get into the corkscrew.
And then, was that Ford or Marini? I think that almost got into him there.
Yellow, that'd be Ford.
Yeah, that'd be Ford. I think I've recalled Marini being yellow before. That might have came up into my mind there. But, again, another notable driver getting caught up in something on their own. But Magram's still going here in the 5th position, although 23 or almost 24 seconds behind the leader. And then Charlie Sears is just doing his thing. He is now 11 seconds ahead.
Yeah, this is just a coronation at this point.
Basically.
Mathematically nobody can catch him. So, you can go ahead and talk about it in those terms now.
But Sears leading the way as he just crossed the start-finish line. Andy Hurdle almost 12 seconds back. Hurdle's going to pass by Jose Mercado here, who's back out on the track 2 laps down. Darcy Ford in the 3rd position. If I look at the results from past races here so far, Darcy Ford has not finished on the podium since, well, actually, his only podium finish this season has been the Indy 250 when he upset everyone and won that race. Yeah, both a win and a podium finish in that one, but it's been since October 30th. So almost 2 months ago, almost. We'll say under, but it's been since round 5 since Ford has been able to be on the podium. And as I was saying that, he has dropped back now to 4th. Macaulay jumps him. So literally anything positive I say about anyone, it seems to get jinxed every single damn time.
But you have to remember, in Darcy Ford's case, like, yeah, that's the one podium he's got this year, but you know, if he had podiums in the 11 other races, he would trade them all for that one, because it was the most important victory, obviously.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, he pretty much, I think he even said in the post-race winner interview, he said, like, that was, like, the best victory he's ever gotten. Like, I don't know if he meant just open wheel or he meant literally ever in the network. I'd have to go back and actually listen, but he definitely put that win up on a pedestal. I mean, it's the Indianapolis 250, the crown jewel race here of the Dart Series. I mean, arguably even the whole Canadian E-Motorsports network. But again, if I go back, again, with him too, it's like we gotta go back to 2022, back whenever we were season 1, back on the Project Cars 2 console game. The transition from console to iRacing has treated drivers very differently, just depending. And, I mean, we can go back to Darcy Ford, who finished 2nd in the points last season on the console side, where he absolutely thrived, especially in Formula 1. I mean, finished 2nd in the points. He got 1 win, 6 podiums, didn't DNF a single race. And then meanwhile, this season, on the other hand, in the transition to iRacing, if I go and look at his statistics, 10 starts, 1 win, 4 top 5s, 8 top 10s within 10 races, which, again, that's not too shabby, but just knowing everything that happened last season, again, you would know, like, for the type of guy he is, the type of driver he is, the expectations would be there for him to be maybe a little higher, because, again, he's currently 9th in the points, going for either 7th or 8th there against Marini or Mercado. I'd have to look at the points there between them. But, yeah, again, expectations maybe, not absolutely fulfilling. But, again, the transition to iRacing has been certainly a roller coaster for him. We saw it back in Season 4 of the NASCAR series on the stock car side. But, again, though, thinking back to that Indy 250 win, and as you said there too, if he was getting a bunch of podium finishes this season, yes, I would agree. He would definitely want to trade all those in exchange for that Indy 250 win, because, again, everyone wants to win that race. It's like in NASCAR with the Daytona 500, or GTR 250, I guess, as we call it. So, yeah.
And yeah, we'll see Darcy potentially trying to improve his case here. It looked like he was trying to make a move on Mangrum coming across the start-finish line, or at least getting very close. And I think he's made the move.
And Kyle Knoll's in trouble as he taps the barrier there on the front end. He went for a spin in the sand. He has dropped down to the 8th position here on lap 9 of 50. So I guess we might as well get an idea of what happened with him.
Yeah, coming out of the corkscrew. Yeah, loose coming out of the corkscrew. And yeah, maybe just a hair wide downhill. Recipe for disaster every single time.
Not ideal there for the number 15 of Kyle Knoll, who is, I guess, Canadian Motorsports Network-wise, he is a sophomore, but when it comes to open wheel with the Dart Series, he is one of the multiple rookies here within the series. Of course, the number 15 Storm Surge eSports Toyota. His statistics include only one top 5 and 4 top 10s within 11 starts. So not absolutely ideal, I guess, especially too in comparison to how he was able to perform in the NASCAR series for Season 4. But again, every now and then he has been able to show how well he can run, and he's also one of those guys with kind of the aggressive role, which is what every series always needs. And
speaking of aggressive, though, that was Charlie Sears that absolutely just blitzed by him.
Yeah, completely lapped him, and now that's going to be 7 cars left on the lead lap. Kyle Knoll is now going to be the top car 1 lap down. Meanwhile, Hunter Young just getting through, I believe that's turn 3.
Yeah, 3 and 4 right there.
Sears leading the way by almost 12.5 seconds over Corbin McCauley, who's just now getting through the hairpin on lap 11 of 50. Andy Hurdle still hanging on to 3rd. Darcy Ford in 4th, trying to chase after him with a lap car of Jose Mercado in front. C.D. Magrum chasing after Ford. Marini's kind of a bit far back right there. Almost 25 seconds back.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, keeping it on the pavement for these boys here.
Basically. Yeah, Kyle Knoll 1 lap down. Daniel Cudmore's 1 lap down. Jose Mercado still on track at 2 laps down. Mark Roulette having some trouble there at 3 laps down. Dylan Baum is, I would imagine, practically out of the race. He's now 9 laps down, still hasn't returned. Ty Higginbotham still remaining in his pit box, hoping for some miracles, but judging by the way the point standings are heading into, of course, tonight's race, he's currently 3rd. He was trying to hopefully chase after... Well, actually, yeah, come to think about it.
If he gets back on track, he could snag 2nd.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, that's the thing. I would imagine that's what he's thinking. He could snag 2nd. But then there's also C.D. Magrum, who's currently in 5th. And then in points, he's 4th. So there could be a possibility that Magrum could even... I don't know about jump both of them. He could... What I'm thinking is maybe Higginbottom 2nd, Baum 3rd... Or no, sorry, Higginbottom 2nd, Magrum 3rd, and then Baum... Or I don't know how I'd put it.
Well, I'm going to try and pull up the graphic while you're talking.
Yeah.
Because normally if I was a more prepared analyst, I'd have this right in front of me. But this is not what happened. This is what happens over Christmas holidays. People do not get prepared. That's what went down. So, yeah, 4-point gap between Baum and Higginbotham right now. But conceivably, he'd need to have some things happen ahead of him, given, again, just how many laps down he is right now as it is. And Magrum, he'd have to win in order for any kind of a shot, really, at 2nd. Just because, that extra 10-point buffer really helps in that regard. And actually, I mean, you have to lead a lap in order to win, obviously, so it's a minimum 51 if he gets that done.
So yeah, I'd say Higginbottom can get back out on the track, then more than likely it's going to probably be Higginbottom, Baum, and Magrum, but again, there's still a lot of racing left here to go. Lap 13 of 50 in the Season 2 Dirt Series season finale at Laguna Seca. As for anywhere below...
Higginbotham would probably need, 3 or 4 other retirements, potentially, and to get back on track in order to have a shot. So it's probably locked in as it is. But again, as you say, it's still lots of racing to go.
Andy Hurdle more than likely locked for 5th. And then, again, battles commencing from bed 6th onward with Macaulay, Marini, Mercado as Marco Let goes off the track coming out of turn 11.
Yeah, I know you said he was struggling definitely with this track, especially at the corkscrew, but good on the man for hanging in there. I mean, it's a track that no one would want to be on, and when I grow up, I don't know if I want to be on it either.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it all through this season. Mark Roulette had a ton of races in a row where he just could not get to the checkered flag, and then finally he was able to, I'd have to pull up his statistics here again. Let me see here. Yeah, so he finished the first 2 races at Auto Club in Pocono, or no, that's actually, I've got that completely flipped. 2. Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7.
Opposite world, folks.
Yeah. 7 races in a... They're the first 7 races. He disconnected from every single one of them. And then finally he had luck at Road America. Then he disconnected in both Iowa races because he was involved in the two big crashes in both of those races. And then the last two at Pocono and Auto Club, he was able to get finishes as 6th and 10th. And it was so, as I mentioned earlier, when looking over the race results back from the Fontana 250 as Ouellette heads to pit road, Ouellette was literally running up front and could have even been argued for even the win in the first half of the race. And then I believe he was hit with a speeding penalty. And from there on out, he couldn't catch back up to anyone up front. But again, I remember he was the one guy that was really capitalizing on the middle to high groove through all the corners. And it was really helping him out, at least, again, in the first half of the race. And then he was hit with even more bad luck. He still managed to finish the race, but man, I mean, it's great, too, for a guy like this who disconnected for so many races, couldn't even make it to the checker flag. And now, recently, he's been able to have some consecutive races where he can make it to the finish. But then there's that other little step where he just wants to get some decent finishes, like he had 6th at Pocono because he took advantage of all the other wrecks that were happening. And then at Auto Club, where he had the speed for even maybe a podium finish, and then just comes home in 10th instead. And then here today, he's been struggling, but you got to imagine with him, he just wants to make sure he kind of goes back to that first step of just making sure he just finishes and doesn't, doesn't have his confidence get shredded, because truly he's been that guy who's had a ton of humbling experiences, especially on the road courses and the street circuits this season, for a guy who, again, I believe he's more prevalent on the ovals. So he's certainly learned a lot, but the fact that this guy has been putting in an effort to learn every single week, and he's been like putting in full commitment to this series and to the Canadian Motorsports Network, it just goes to show the type of guy he is, and we're very happy to have him.
Yeah, and I mean, he's kind of the embodiment of, what we're looking for in the kind of framework of the series itself. Like, yeah, there's definitely a competitive landscape to it, but you also want to have guys who, again, are absolutely willing to learn and take the challenges. Is that Dan Cudmore a little bit tight there coming through the turn? Yeah,
Cudmore had trouble coming out of turn 11 there. You keep going.
So, again, he's the guy that kind of balances, like, the competitive side and, the fun, drama-free side of it as well, or at least as best we can manage. Because, character matters in the Canadian E-Motorsports Network, and some might look at the results on the outside as he unfortunately goes a little outside on turn 3, but that almost felt like my Castellanos with the deep drive call there, unfortunately. But anyway, back to the positivity, and that's what a guy like Mark Ouellette brings to this series. A guy who, he shows up every week. He's a guy that's, as I said before, is very willing to learn. A guy who, kind of takes everything in stride as best he can. And, there have been signs of improvement there. So, he's, in my view, absolutely a great addition to the series. And I'm looking forward to seeing him as he gets more into his groove, or perhaps into more of his element.
Absolutely. If he does end up participating in Season 5 of the NASCAR series, once that comes around towards, around the... I'll just say the spring season. The driver that, again, still struggling there. Geez, the number 80. Yeah, hold it together, Mark. Hold it together. You can finish this.
Yeah, we got your back, man. We got your back.
Yeah, the driver, the number 80, Koopa's Racing, Little Res Q, Animal Shelter, and Sanctuary Chevrolet. I really would love to see him come back for Season 5 of the NASCAR series once that comes around next year during the spring season. Again, we're more than happy and welcoming to have him back. Again, character is what we embody here within the Canadian Motorsports Network, and he brings in that element. He adds to that element, and it really helps him. Wow, that was a close call there with Corbin McCauley. But yeah, man, we're just trying to spread positivity and, have character as much as possible, and he brings that element in so well. And again, even though the stats and the numbers may not show on the on-track side, off the track, absolutely brilliant guy, and he's brought a lot, of course, as a rookie to the Canadian Motorsports Network. So he tries to hang on there in the 11th position, 6 laps down, just at least try to finish this one, maybe even get lucky later and maybe be able to add in a top 10 finish. That would make it 5 top 10s in 12 races if it does end up happening there. Meanwhile, 6 laps away, or 6-7 laps away, or from halfway, there's some debris right there on the racetrack. Don't know who that would be from, but Charlie Sears, pretty much the champion. Almost 15 seconds ahead of Corbin McCauley, who's doing everything he can to maybe try to pull off some miracles within the next half of the race. Andy Hurdle continues to hang on to the 3rd position. Darcy Ford still charging after him, about 3.5 seconds back. We might have a battle here for that 4th position brewing, as CD Magram is very quickly approaching the number 64 Wing Snob car.
Well, the last time we saw that Ouellette coming back onto the track there, I was going to say the last time we saw Ford or went on board with him, that was around the time he actually passed Mangrum for that 4th position, and I would imagine they've just been going back and forth ever since. And there you can see like just how kind of a flowing that turn 6 is. Like, yeah, there is a degree to it as they come down the corkscrew, but yeah, just 6, it's almost kind of like a semi-straight there, just again with a little kink in it more than an actual turn.
It kind of took the corner a little wide right there. You could tell he was getting a lot closer to Ford, and then just Ford shot away. Didn't take turn 11 very well there. The number 1 BMW of CD Magram. That's not what I wanted. Come on. I gotta shout out some sponsors here. Gotta be courteous. Number 1 GTR Motorsports BMW, sponsored by Nordic Aluminum and A1 Grassroots Lawn Maintenance and Landscaping. So now at 30 laps to go in the 2023 Grand Prix of Monterey, the season finale for Season 2 of the Canadian Motorsports Network Dart Series on iRacing. Oh, and would you look at that?
Hey, he made it back out.
Higgy is back.
Or is
he'll try. That's all that matters. Again,
just wanted to give a little wave to the pace car driver on the way by.
Give him a little bit, one final salute, maybe skid the wall a little bit there coming off of pit road. But again, yeah, you see the message right there
You're not Ross Chastain, brother.
Oh no.
Yeah, maybe not.
I was just gonna say, if this car you're seeing right here could skid across the line without all 4 tires, and also, you know, as a U.S. Air Force sponsored car, oh man,
there he goes.
Fly over someone en route to skidding across the line and barely beating the guy who's just gonna go by right there in Charlie Sears. Anything's possible, but it looks like, yeah, unfortunately, the 2nd and 3rd place drivers in the point standings are both going to be out, so that should make things interesting, especially when it comes to CD Magram, who I don't know if he could jump both of them mathematically, maybe one of them, but again, we'll have to wait and see. He's still hanging on to the 5th position. I mean, every position will absolutely matter, especially if he can catch back up to Darcy Ford and maybe even Andy Hurdle, because again, they're within a bit of gap, or maybe about 6 seconds or so there. 5-6 seconds. Again, still got another half to go.
Get some answers here for you. I'm going to pull up the handbook on the side here, and we'll do some real-time mapping.
And that's why I'm glad to have you, because all this multitasking, whew.
Okay, so Higginbotham, or Baum, I should start with, locked into 13th, so that gets him 17 points. So that would put his final total for the season at 410. For Higginbotham, just add 1 more point to it. For a 12th place finish, 18 points, that would be 407. So 1 point closer, but not enough to overtake. So for Mangrum, he could get it done with a 2nd place finish, as that would give him 40 points to get him to 413 if that was ultimately to come to pass. But yeah, 2nd place, it's doable for the number 1. So conceivably, he could leapfrog both.
There's going to be some green flag pit stops getting underway as CD Manger makes his way down. He is one of multiple guys as, ouch.
Yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, we know we got caught up in something earlier.
Hunter Young might have also gotten caught up in something there as that front, whatever you, I guess you could say the wing just completely dropped off and then it vanished into the Shadow Realm.
Yep.
CD Magnum, 8.8 second pit stop time. You go ahead now.
I was going to say, yeah, that's a very tidy stop there from the one. You recall he had a bit of a spin, but notably didn't hit anything. So may not have incurred the damage that the others got, as we see. Was that McCauley going wide?
Yep.
Yeah, again, for those at home, I'm not on my regular setup, so I'm watching this race through my phone, which is still potato vision right now, but, I'm faking it till I make it.
I mean, again, we got plenty of months time until we get back to this, because obviously we do have some things in the works for the Canadian Motorsports Network. Certainly a lot of changes that will be happening as we head into the next couple of months, heading into the new year of 2024. So again, you got
one of them already announced with the new logo, right?
Yes,
so
yes, exactly. Yes, we did tease that earlier or last week. We teased that.
Yeah, and then released the next day.
Indeed. So again, as I was saying, got a couple months time until we're back at this. So all good. It's one race remaining. You're here. That's what matters. I mean, again, we got to remember back at Pocono where you were in for a couple laps, and nothing was going right on your end.
No, the old internet gremlins got me there a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, and how I remember the times on the Formula One during the Formula One season, whenever I was the color commentator, and I'm missing a couple races there, but thankfully those days are way past us now, as we are. Might as well say now we are officially halfway through the Grand Prix of Monterey, or at least a lap past that now.
Yep.
The Season 2 season finale. Charlie Sears leading the way by 13 seconds over Corbin McCauley. 4 cars remaining on the lead lap. I mean, again, there's still a couple guys. I mean, there's still guys that still have to come down the pit lane, and that would be, again, Sears, McCauley, Hurdle, and Ford still have to come down. Mike Marini just did. Hunter Young might still be on. No, never mind. He's back out, as I think he just had some trouble there coming out of the corkscrew. Jose Mercado still setting a Guinness World Record. That was very unprofessional to say.
Nah, he's got a ways to go to get there anyway, so that's unfortunate.
Hunter Young goes off into the sand at a turn 11. So a lot of drivers facing some bad luck in this season finale. I mean, it's almost as if again, we remember the ticking time bombs that went off back at Auto Club last week. So again, at this point, nothing surprising anymore, and definitely a lot of these drivers showing some rust. Again, we haven't been on a road course since like a month ago. So
yeah, I guess Road America would have been the last one, right?
Yes, yeah, November 20th.
And we didn't even broadcast that.
No, we did not, because I had other life priorities.
And I don't have iRacing myself.
Yeah, I remember the days when it was a complete flip, where if I was unavailable, you could still do it, but now it's the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah, just a little different.
Just a little bit. So yeah, Ty Higginbotham, Dylan Baum, the first and only 2 DNFs of tonight's race so far.
Meanwhile, it looks like our leaders are in, or 2 of them anyway.
Andy Hurdle just drove out of his box, 8.95 seconds. Darcy Ford at 9.22. Kyle Knoll, 11.82. Definitely slower than those 2. I mean, although 2 laps down, so it's not a whole lot to talk about right there, but it is certainly interesting between the 7 and the 64, separated by about 2 seconds or so there. They'll be fighting for the final position on the podium. Meanwhile, Charlie Sears and Corbin McCauley still have yet to come down the pit lane.
Well, I think McCauley's on his out lap now. Because I thought McCauley had a 0 next to his name before.
Right. Or actually, maybe did we miss them? Oh, whoa.
I think we might have by like a lap.
I think we did, because it says laps since last pit. There's 1-1-0-0-4. So yeah, I guess we did definitely miss them there. So 16 seconds separating those two. And then meanwhile, back here, it's pretty much, I would say for the rest of this race, it's more than likely going to be a battle between these two for the bottom end of the podium. So, I mean, hey, might as well have something to talk about and get excited about, at least before the whole championship call at the end.
Yeah, and yeah, right now, like, again, CD Mangrum would need quite a few things to happen to potentially leapfrog both Baum and Higginbotham to get into second. And yeah, other than that, like, that battle for third, as you said, that's pretty much the extent of the intrigue right now, as, you know, we've kind of come to expect from road courses. But this one, I'm sure the drivers will say, not exactly a joyride to end the season.
Yeah, especially not the corkscrew.
No, this is more like a hold on for dear life ride as opposed to, you know, anything that brings any kind of joy.
And as I say that, I click on Mark Goulette's name and, Wait, that, oh god, oh no, we're gonna get sued.
I'll have what he's having.
I think we're gonna get sued.
Well, none of us, we didn't say the word.
Okay, I'll stop. Anyways.
Yeah, no, actually, it's funny of all that.
You know, it's funny. Whenever I was talking to these guys before, when I was sending these guys the message through race control, Corbin joked about the flag stand having the curse logo.
That other branding.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's not really in our control, though. The graphics.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, like, that's the argument. It's like, that's not our fault that they put that in the game.
No, it is not.
But that's what comes to pass with these independent vehicles. It's the last race.
A for effort. A for effort.
I mean, I have to, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
there you go again.
What would we be doing here?
But yeah, it looks as though the number 80 of Mark Goulette, unfortunately, it won't be 3 races in a row of finishing, unless he comes back later on, but I would imagine probably not, because he's 11 laps down now. And then Jose Mercado more than likely out too, so pretty much 9 cars remaining, or 8 cars now, as Hunter Young is 9 laps down. I don't know if he'll be going back out. So, again, that leaves 4 cars on the lead lap. CD Mangrum 1 lap down in 5th. Oh, well, there's trouble for the 64.
Well, that might give Mangrum a bit of an opportunity to grab a position here, as he was perilously close coming out of that turn, as he's coming up to the corkscrew, and Ouellette himself has just confirmed that his night's done.
You know what, Mark? Gold star, yes. We will give you
Absolutely.
that gold star.
For sure.
We will give you that gold star. You made it 30 laps or something like that. We'll give you that credit.
Beforehand, and this is kind of pulling the curtain back here a little bit, he said he gave himself a 50% shot of navigating the corkscrew as Ford's in. Is this the second time, or is this his first stop?
I can verify that right there. That'll be his second. Okay. It should be, after he gets out of the box.
So something clearly went wrong, because you see that time just going up and up and up and up and up. But no, to go back to Mark Ouellette there for a second, pre-race he gave himself a 50% chance of getting through the corkscrew. That's a direct quote. He lasted 60% of the laps, so You know what? Absolutely gold star. That is just a gold car into the wall, unfortunately.
I was wondering how you're going to transition that.
Oh, there was no thought behind it. There usually isn't. It's just kind of calling it as I see it. And what I see is CD Mangrum having picked up one of the positions he needs.
Indeed, that will certainly help him out. Still has a long ways to go if he wants to get onto the podium. So Ford in his box, 5th place, 2 laps down. Mike Marini in 6th is going to get past him, so I wonder if that puts him in 5th. Yes, it will. So Mike Marini going to try and go for a top 5 here. If I look back at the results of the season so far, this would be Marini's... Actually, I think there's an easier way to do this. Yeah, this will make a lot more sense.
Don't you love just figuring things out in real time?
Oh, yes. No. So if this were to work out for him, this would be Marini's 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be his 5th top 5. He got one back at Pocono. He got a couple at Belle Isle Road America. Got one at Canadian Tire. Again, was caught up in that wreck at the end at Auto Club last Tuesday. So he'll be looking to rebound from what happened there.
Big one? I think it was the previous caution that he was caught up in.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, when you say big, there's, especially last week, there's kind of levels to
okay, the mini one and the big one. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
So that puts.
But yeah, interesting to note those top 5s. 3 of them are on roads and streets. So hey, he's got a niche here.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the NASCAR series always. Every one of his, I think it was every one of his wins are on the road courses.
Yeah, 2 Canadian Tire, and then the Indy Roval for the All-Star race in Season 2.
Yeah, absolutely dominant on the road courses in NASCAR during the NASCAR Heat 5 console era. So we'll, especially when we get to Season 5 of the NASCAR series, when we hopefully will be implementing road courses, then don't know about street circuits, but road courses for sure. He will certainly be a guy to keep an eye on for, again, with the iRacing transition. I don't know about wins, but those are definitely not out of the question. And, you know what, Jordy, I might as well ask you about this, considering, again, we're at a road course to end off this Dart Series season, and with fingers crossed that we are able to add road courses to Season 5 of the NASCAR series, we might as well kind of maybe jump into the future a little bit and kind of just give off our goals and hopes for what we might be able to see heading into then. Let me ask you, what road courses and even street circuits, what would you like to see on the Season 5 NASCAR schedule, yourself personally?
Well, I mean, I think the first thought is that NASCAR doesn't feel like NASCAR if Watkins Glen isn't on the schedule, first and foremost. Meanwhile, I think I can give myself a few more thoughts, because we had somebody spun back there as Marini went by. I don't know who it was. Mercado, maybe? Yeah, I think there was a lot of pink. I think it was him.
Anyways.
Well, you kind of cut out on me there for a second.
Yeah, Watkins Glen, and then... Yeah, what else?
Okay, damn, I thought you were going to go to a replay to give me a little bit more time, but that's fine. I just got to think back here. Definitely, it'll be nice to have some more variety back into the configuration of the series. Whether it goes longer than 20 races, I don't know. That's certainly a grind. But, it'll be nice to have it feel like more of a complete championship, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Whether it's, Watkins Glen. I mean, we're looking at, kind of a sandy track in California right now. Why not bring Sonoma back into the proceedings? I mean, there's lots of options. It'll eliminate the need for us to double up on a lot of the tracks like we had to in Season 4. as I say, just more variety, more complete picture, and obviously, absolutely not taking anything away from what Scott Bailey was able to do with his consistency en route to his title in season four. But again, having the more like complete picture of everything gives a little bit more of a complete champion, I should say. And like,
Yeah.
I have to think because yeah, we didn't have any real short tracks outside of Richmond, did we?
No, not well. I mean, we
It'll be
did
nice
have
to have
North
those back too.
Wilkesboro.
Yes, yes, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, that's obviously good in its own right for the throwback nature of that particular race. But it'll be nice to bring, some of the more true NASCAR standards back in from that perspective too.
Yeah.
Like you're missing, your Lady in Black. You're missing your Bristol. You're missing, lots of different options there, lots of different configurations. So again, having a little more variety, maybe that'll add a little bit more of an appeal as we get deeper into this iRacing transition.
Yes.
But, I mean, one way or the other, I'm looking forward to it all.
Yeah, I'd say Watkins Glen, Sonoma are more than likely locks because they're pretty much the well-known road courses. I would say tracks like the Indy Road Course and the Charlotte Roval probably I would argue against them because we're probably already going to be racing at the Charlotte and Indy ovals, a lot more iconic, Especially, I mean, again, you got in real life, like the Coke 600, and then, like, we do half of that, and then we have, kind of a half Brickyard 400, maybe, or something like that. I wonder how many terrified, facial reactions, we would get if we were to suggest the Chicago street circuit.
I mean, yeah, you'd probably be running into a bit of opposition there. Like, I think for the spectacle of it all, I think we'd just be too busy laughing to call it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it obviously provides its own level of entertainment as well. But yeah, it would be interesting to see how that gets navigated by our field, however big it happens to be.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say there's Watkins Glen, Sonoma, Bristol, Martinsville. I feel like some people would argue Martinsville, but if you have Bristol, I think you have to have Martinsville. And then one track that we need to have no matter what is Darlington.
Well, I mean, yeah, I brought up the Lady in Black earlier, absolutely.
Yeah, Darlington you have to have in there. I mean, even Corbin McCauley, that guy in particular, he has tested so many times how would I say this? Like he has said so many times we need to run Darlington like the iRacing Darlington because holy moly, yes, it is ever challenging, but that's what makes it good. It is absolutely entertaining on the iRacing services. Oh my gosh, Charlie Sears trying to get around lap traffic. It's like Mike Marini's not letting him have any of it.
Well, I mean, that's one way to do it, run wide into 11, but I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a joyride to the title at this point for Charlie Sears. The Greg Moore Cup's going home to him. Why not do a little off-roading to get there at the end?
So that did kind of squeeze the gap between Sears and McCauley, but not by a whole lot. It's almost 14 and a half seconds separating the 32 and the 17. So the 32 would really have to go through some major implications in order for the 17 to have any luck for the race win. But this is certainly going to be a rebound, at least for the 17. I mean, not the win, but again, going back to his results throughout the season. I mean, looking at his road course resume, street circuit resume this season, finished second at Barber, 17th at Long Beach, 12th at Canadian Tire, 10th at Belle Isle, and yeah, he's only got one top 5 finish at all the road courses that he's been able to run at. He's got 2 top 10s, but only 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s in 4 road course races. Definitely not ideal. His clearly a lot better on the ovals, so there has been a lot of growing pains and I guess some transition pains in a way. Not necessarily with the iRacing service in a way, but more so talking about just like he's not really used to the open wheel side when it comes to, again, his decade-long experience on iRacing. We all know him as the prevalent oval racer, whether it's in NASCAR with the short track racing, but he's definitely shown his improvements, and his raw speed on the road courses has been great. It's just been kind of the luck and the patience, and so far we're seeing it here. He's been able to prevail so far. He's in second place. It's not first, but I mean, I guess second's better than wrecking out like he did multiple times earlier in the season.
Yeah, I'm sure he loves the brotherly reminder of that, but he'd be honest with himself on that front too, though. That's the thing. So that's what kind of allows us to be objective in that, in case, you know, anyone happens to doubt whether or not we can be neutral or not. But yeah, like, as you say, the results kind of speak for themselves at the end of the day, right? So ultimately, as you say, this is a bit of a rebound performance for him if he's able to hang on, which, I mean, we've seen a number of drivers get caught out so far, and, you know, 17's kept it on the rails here, on the asphalt, and, you know, he's able to just kind of, again, keep it pointed in the right direction, and, you know, the results should bear itself out if he's able to just keep it smart here for this last kind of quarter-ish of the race.
And with 7 laps to go here, Charlie Sears well on his way to yet another win here this season in Season 2 of the Canadian Motorsports Network Dart Series on iRacing, live here at the season finale, Grand Prix of Monterey, now 6 laps to go at Laguna Seca. Might as well, one last time here, shout out the sponsors and partners of the network and the Dart Series: Holland Hurricanes, Kyle's Fried Chicken, Rampage Coffee Co., GTR, TrackCams22.com, which provide us these professional broadcast-style cameras that you see here for the iRacing service. Is what you've seen here this season and also back in Season 4 of the NASCAR Series. We will be continuing to use them down the line in the future, particularly for Season 5 of the NASCAR Series, so we'd like to thank them very much for being able to provide us these cameras. And then there's Piping Kettle Soup Co., and to end it all off, GSG Vinyl 3D. So we'd like to thank each and every one of those sponsors and partners for, again, partnering up with us here at the Canadian Motorsports Network. Without you, we would definitely be in a lot more marketing trouble, that's for sure, but nope, we're not in any of that. I'd like to thank each and every one of you. Without you, a lot of this would not be possible.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely important, and, you know, this transition, like, to have those folks on board, yeah, we definitely can't thank them enough, and, you know, that's a big part of the reason why we're able to make this transition in the first place. Otherwise, we'd probably still be stuck in console hell right now.
So Charlie Sears, again, 14 seconds ahead of Corbin McCauley, well on his way to earning his 6th win of the season and the coveted Greg Moore Cup, the 2nd annual one to be awarded ever. AJ Knickel got it last season, and this season, looking like it's going to be Charlie Sears, and again, too, this is the guy. I mean, no surprise when you when we talk about the fact that he is the only driver in Canadian Motorsports Network history to have the title of, the only driver to have a pro license on iRacing, because he participates in. We got to go back and actually check what the actual specific name of it is. The Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing Series. That is quite the name, whoever came up with it.
Always a mouthful, never fails.
Indeed.
But, I mean, the other thing to note, like, yeah, the guy's been an absolutely supreme driver, and obviously, you know, significantly so in the second half of the season, but, you know, it's at the same time, we talked earlier about balancing competitiveness with character. this dude's got a ton of character too, as we see Mercado backing out onto the track. But yeah, to go back to Sears again, like he's the guy, again, pulling the curtain back a little bit. He's the guy that's, provides telemetry, provides tips to some of the other guys to try and find better lines and better times. Like, he's not a guy who's just hogging the information for himself. Like, he's, clearly capable without, he's capable on his own, but, he's a guy that's, is willing to kind of share info in the name of the greater good, so to speak. And that's been absolutely a breath of fresh air. And, he's a guy that I'd love to see be, very much more than a one and done here within the scope of our little corner of the internet we've built out here.
Absolutely. And I mean, now coming to 2 laps to go here in this season of dart racing. Go again, continuing to put this guy in the spotlight. I mean, deservingly so. The number 32 499 Racing Chevrolet from. Let's get the specifics of where he's from. That would be Charlottesville, Virginia. The American driver there's all. He almost went off right there. Jeez.
Thank you.
Huh? What?
I was looking for that at the same time, so thank you for finding it first.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, the statistics of this guy this season have been absolutely bonkers. I mean, through 12 races, he's got 5 poles, 8 top 5s, 9 top 10s. I mean, quite frankly, too, this guy, again, he started the season at rock bottom because at Barber, he won the pole and he didn't even make it through the first corner. He finished 18th. And then he went Long Beach. Then he crashed at Texas on the first lap again. 2nd at Canadian Tire, 9th at the Indy 250. Crashed out again. 14th at Milwaukee, 3 wins in a row, and then finished 5th, then won at Pocono, and then came up just short 2nd place at Auto Club. But as I was saying there's the white flag for the number 32. One more lap here this season in the Canadian Motorsports Network Dart Series on iRacing Season 2, season finale. Grand Prix of Monterey at Laguna Seca. Jordy, any final thoughts before the final call?
Well, I was going to say, it feels like, the field's been competitive, but once Sears got rolling, yeah, the white flag was just thrown on this race a few seconds ago, but honestly, the field could have thrown in the white flag a couple of weeks ago. There was just absolutely no stopping this 32, and, just coming through the corkscrew one last time here, just an absolute masterclass, and yeah, I think this is a pretty good time for me to pipe down.
This guy started the season at rock bottom, but now he's going to be on top of the world saluting the late Greg Moore. Charlie Sears is officially a Dart Series champion.
Yeah, and as I say, absolutely well-deserved here, especially the second half of the season. There was no catching this guy, to be quite honest, and it was just, as I said, masterclass. That might not even do the level of racing justice if we're going to be completely fair about it. Which, it almost felt unfair the way Charlie Sears was driving at times, but it was just that level of dominance, quite honestly.
So Charlie Sears is officially your 2023 Greg Moore Cup champion, the 2nd annual one in the history of the Dart Series. And he also is the winner of the 2023 Grand Prix of Monterey at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca here in Central California. Corbin McCauley finishes in the runner-up position. Andy Hurdle coming around turn 11 one final time. He will take the checker flag and he will put himself on the bottom end of the podium. What a rebound after what happened last week at Auto Club Speedway in the Fontana 250, going up and over, wild ride in the catch fence in, again, I'll fix myself, the mini one, not the big one.
Yeah, that was, a lot to talk about still from that particular week, but again, good rebound from Andy Hurdle.
Oh my God!
Well, I mean, that's a Mangrum thing to do, for sure.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Yeah, at least for Hurdle, this rebound didn't involve a fence this time around. So, hey, kudos to the 7.
Oh, and someone in front of...
Uh-oh.
Yeah, at this point, I think Jose Mercado's just like, whatever.
Well, that was going to be his GTR mate, Mangrum, that he was going to mangle again.
And fingers crossed, did we... No, he never did any champion. He never did any celebrations or anything like that. I was just making sure.
Too classy for that. That's Charlie Sears.
Neom.
Yikes.
I should have just ran to the back of him and say, screw it.
And, yeah, I was going to say, Jose, you're not the podium, homie. Yeah, keep going. There you go.
Just trying to... let him have that feeling. Let him at least just have it. Just let him.
Well, I mean, he's never one to be shy. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, we'll put it that way. But
there's the proper podium.
That is indeed the proper podium.
Oh, did we go to the wrong line? And then, oh, okay, now we got the donuts. My God, the local police have to be salivating seeing all these donuts.
Oh, boy.
What's up? Hey.
Charlie, go join them.
Going over a car only worked to win last week. Let's be clear on that. And it had to be the Air Force car because, you know, planes and stuff.
There we go.
Sure.
Because at this point, who cares?
I mean, yeah, there's no next week, right? So.
And there goes a couple engines. And a kiss.
I was gonna say it would have been fitting for that one particular one to be the last one standing, but looks like we're still able to move around a little bit, unless, oh boy, what's he planning now? Just a reverse lap? It's iRacing, not Gran Turismo. You can't do that.
Am I hearing a washing machine?
Yes. Off in the distance. You are correct.
What else is new? You know what? No, you know what? This is kind of new in a way. We'll get to it. Here we go. Hey!
Hey, it's officially official now, yeah.
It is officially official. Yes, it is. And we'll see if the man... Yes, he is indeed in the Discord chat, so you might as well go ahead and mute yourself in here and then get yourself in there, and we'll be able to talk to him live.
Yeah, I'll have to... Well, yeah, I guess Discord, I don't need to be seen there, so yeah, I'll just make that switch over for everything here. Cue the elevator music while I'm doing that.
Yeah, I'll talk to him for a little bit here until you get in.
Okay.
Alrighty then, Charlie Sears, buddy. We are live. You are the 20. You are now, I guess officially. I mean, you were mathematically already there beforehand, but we'll say it officially now. You are the 2023 Canadian Motorsports Network Darts Series champion. You have won the second annual Greg Moore Cup. How does it feel? Again, I made that call at the end of the race there as you were crossing the line to take the checkered flag to win the Grand Prix of Monterey. You started the season at rock bottom, but you ended it on top of the world, saluting the late Greg Moore, Charlie Sears, for your first season in the Canadian Motorsports Network and in the Darts Series. Take us through the emotions, take us through how it feels, and does this align with your expectations whenever you first joined the series?
Man, it's just so exciting. Like it's great to be here. It's a great group of folks to race with. The streams are fantastic. Like I couldn't have randomly applied to a league and had a better outcome. Winning is just the cherry on top. Like I'm very excited to have done well for myself, but it's just really really exciting. It was great to be here, and yeah, the starting sort of at where were we? The roller coaster. Why can't I think of the name? Barber Motorsports Park.
Take your time. It's the championship interview. You can do whatever.
Oh, cool, good. I've got a lot of things to say now that I've got a platform. No, it's it was quite a bummer to not make it to the second corner at a track that I love. Like, I have historically really not enjoyed Barber. That series that this series is based off of really renewed my love for kind of flowing tracks that follow some really interesting topography that they're laid upon, and Barber is really a solid embodiment of that, like coming out of the chicane and into that last section of the track where you're just, especially in this car, trying to keep it flat out the whole time. It's just so much fun. So I'm bummed I didn't get to turn laps there outside of practice and qualifying, but it was quite the battle to kind of bring it back to where we are now. I think, what was it, last race I had won 5 out of the last 7, so 6 out of the last 8 here. Like, that's kind of exciting. I've had some great results towards the end of the season, and it's been awesome compared to the start. So I really didn't have a lot of expectations coming in either. I didn't know what to expect from everyone else. Like everything I look for in racing, I'm kind of competing against myself and the clock. How can I do better than I did last time? Adding everyone else is just another element to that, whether it's the Pro Series, official series, racing here. It's always a battle against me, and then just seeing what else gets thrown in the mix to kind of spice it up. So it's been a heck of a season. I'm kind of blown away with how well I've done on some of the ovals here. That's where I definitely expected to do poorly, but just so excited to kind of come away with it. Like, it was, I was running the math last week, and I was like, oh crap, I won, huh? Weird. But to just bring home another win and really really solidify it is really exciting as well. I don't know. It's hard to say. I didn't know what I would say at this point. It's very exciting. I'm grinning ear to ear like an idiot.
Yeah, no, you can go ahead and do that, man. It's all good, of course. Now I'll ask this. And of all the races that you did win this season, maybe you might have some bias towards this one because you won the championship alongside, but what would you say, like, and of all the wins, or maybe even we'll top at every single race, what would you say was your number one, I'm asking you what your number one favorite memory is of the season, yet you're just telling me here you're trying to go through all the thoughts and you're trying to be able to piece everything together, but just if you really think about it and just think back to this whole rookie campaign overall, what would you say is like your number one favorite memory of all of it? Like, one race in particular that you enjoyed the most? Is there a finish that you really like? Just what's one memory that really pops out?
It's hard not to go straight for Detroit, racing at Belle Isle. It's a track I've always loved. I clearly love street courses, and they seem to love me as well, so it's very symbiotic in that nature. But to lap the field, even though the field was shortened out through the chaos that bumpy, tight track provides, was still just very exciting. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, that was a really fun race. It was pure adrenaline to the finish.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, can you name so kind of two questions here. Name one thing from this rookie campaign where you're really like kind of just a thing that really surprised you. Maybe it was something that just didn't align with your expectations, but something that surprised you like in a good way about how you performed, or just something that happened that you weren't expecting, but it really helped you out. And then name one thing that you think, even though again you're the champion, you won 6 races, what's still one thing that you're going to take away from this campaign and hope to improve upon? Like maybe there's still that little one thing that you think maybe you weren't able to achieve overall, or maybe just kind of a little bit of a skill thing maybe you just want to improve upon heading into your future time here at the Canadian Motorsports Network. So again, something that surprised you in a good way, and then something that you hope to improve upon in future seasons and races.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna be talking about myself a lot today. So one thing that surprised me, I'm gonna throw it completely away from me, just how everyone else kind of improved throughout the season as well. Like it didn't stay stagnant. It wasn't, kind of one trick the whole way through. Everyone really improved to some significantly, but I think everyone by the end had their shot at the podium, made the podium, had a fantastic race, really improved compared to similar tracks previously. So that was what surprised me the most, and maybe it shouldn't have. That's kind of the point, I think. But it was really cool to see just everyone continue to drive forward, because you get a black flag if you go backwards. But it was great to see everyone really improve throughout everything. And then things I can improve on, I think it's just ovals, like seeing how we'll do. I've enjoyed racing with y'all so much. Like I'm here for the silly, heavy old NASCARs, whatever's coming next after what we're doing in January and February. But really looking forward to improving myself there. It is something that I could use a lot more skill on. Give me a high downforce car, I'll do okay. But you give me what do they weigh? 9,000 pounds, 4 horsepower through the corners. Like it's just, those things are crazy. I don't know how anyone drives those things. So I'm looking forward to learning more and improving in that regard.
Absolutely. And now it appears that Jordy Carraher, color commentator, has joined us here. First of all, Jordy, do we have a copy? He might take some time. I have another question in mind, but I might be skipping a little bit too far into the future. I want to see if Jordy can be able to hopefully ask some questions that I didn't already ask, and might maybe just be able to kind of stick with where we're at right now.
Technical difficulties happen.
Yeah, he just told me I had to restart his computer, so we'll see if he'll be able to get a word in here. Just give him a little bit. Maybe as he takes his time, I'll ask you another little bit of a comedy-like question, I guess. What would you say was like your worst favorite race?
It's probably Texas. I didn't enjoy that race to begin with, and it was only a handful of weeks after I drove into the wall at the Tri-Oval all on my own in the Pro Series. So to come back, and I had all of this muscle memory of the setup we had created for the Pro Series race, and just getting used to the fixed setup, and then I was struggling to get a hold of the car. Obviously, it was the first kind of slower start for everyone getting running, and these cars, I mean, I I go out of the pits in 6th gear. Like, in what car do you take the second to last gear to leave the pits at 50 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour? It's insane. So there was some chaos there. So that was I was a little glad to not have to continue for the full length. It was going to be, and it was quite the chaotic race. But every oval since then really settled in. But yeah, definitely Texas.
Yeah, the good old infamous Texas Motor Speedway. Absolutely everyone loves that racetrack. It appears Jordy is unable to provide his voice, so it looks as though he's going to be sending you a question, maybe even multiple questions here through one of the text channels. So we'll just see we'll see what he has to say.
Now I got to prove I can read. Come on.
I really want to ask him. I have some questions in mind, but I don't want to jump, man. Jordy, come on. I'll talk about something else to fill the time. You know what? Maybe do you have anything you want to talk about? Because again, we're giving you the spotlight. So is there anything else relating to this season, your time in the network that you want to talk about?
I think just more people need to sign up for the next series. Like this was so much fun. Like everyone should join. This was more than any of the leagues I've raced in the past. From a camaraderie, a pure enjoyment. Like I look forward to Tuesdays. It's just been so much fun. Like it's easy to say it was fun because I won, but it was fun despite that. I think I can look past that a little. I've made friends I know will stay in touch past this already, and it's only been, a handful of months. It's well worth joining the series when it starts back up again. Like I said, I'm looking forward to racing cars. I would never in a million years dream of signing up for I'm going to spend my evenings racing NASCAR. Come on. But I can't wait. There's going to be time to learn. There's going to be people around to help grow. It's going to be awesome. And it has been awesome. So if anyone's on the fence or sees the sign up in the coming months, coming years, definitely jump on board. It's been awesome.
Yeah. You heard it here, folks. There's a testimony that we can absolutely use here within the Canadian Motorsports Network whenever we do have registration forms come out and such. You heard it from the new champion of the Dart Series. This guy wants you to sign. It's like that American military meme poster that you see out there where it's just like, you sign up for this damn thing.
Yeah.
So I guess I might as well. I'll just ask this question anyways, just to get it over with. You obviously you are definitely hinting at a future with us here within the network, but I'm gonna ask you anyways. Can you give us maybe a little bit more of a deep dive into what your 2024 plans are? Are you hoping to participate in some of our off-season series and races that will be coming up within about the next month or so? Are you hoping to improve on the oval side and join us for season 5 of the NASCAR series? Are you going to continue more so on the open wheel side? What are you hoping to get out of for 2024? What goals do you have in mind, and what are you eyeing for next year?
Yeah, next year for me, and I saw Jordy posed a question, so I'll get to that after this. But with the Canadian E-Motorsports Network, I'm up for what there is on offer. Like I said, there's a lot to enjoy. The off-season fun in the LMDH, and I can't even remember. I don't own whatever the oval car is. We'll have to figure that one out. It looks like a wedge with big old wheels on the side, like it's one of those derby cars you push down a hill and see how far it goes. Looks like that with a big old engine on it. So whatever that is, I'll have to buy that and figure out what it is. But I'm here for that. The oval side will be interesting. Not looking forward to the NASCAR side from a performance perspective. I'm a competitive person by nature, so I'd like to do well, but I think it's going to be a great learning opportunity where I can improve somewhere that I know I am not strong in terms of racing, and maybe it'll teach me something about the rest of the racing. Everything teaches a bit somewhere else. There's always something to apply. But personally, focusing more on open wheel and LMDH racing with 499. So looking forward to that. There's the Daytona 24 is coming up, so I need to really get some practice in for that. It's pretty darn soon. And then just trying to keep my pace up there while not getting too confused with all the downforce I have in the Super Formula 23. For instance, the IRL1's not a terribly active series, so this might be the last race I end up doing, depending on where licensing goes next year.
And so we finally do have a question here from Jordy through text, so I will exactly replicate what he's saying here because he can't get it through voice, but here is exactly what he said. Charlie Sears, you may appreciate the reference as a Charlottesville guy, but the first half of the season you were the Virginia team that lost to the second seed that won March Madness year. Then you roared back in the second half like Virginia didn't take in the national title the next season. If you haven't already, maybe take us through where that sort of transition/comeback point started for you. 16 seed, whatever it is in that sport. And he also says, P.S. huge second half. Congratulations on the championship. So yeah, like you said, just take us through where that sort of transition/comeback point started for you, Charlie.
Yeah, that's a good question. I was trying to think about that a bit earlier in the week. Like where did things kind of turn around? And I hope you'll forgive me, Jordy. I don't really care for college basketball. I've lived in college towns since I've been in college. I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan, lived about a mile from the Big House, and what I knew of home game Saturdays is I couldn't go to Meijer or Kroger that day because the traffic was crazy. Lived in Lexington, Kentucky, a quarter mile from Kroger Stadium, and we would tailgate there because we're close enough, so that was fun, but that's what I knew of home football games. Coach Cal, I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. I just know his name. And now I'm in Charlottesville. Virginia obviously has done very well in plenty of sports, but I just hear about them personally. I don't know too much about them. Played hockey growing up, and then I moved south from Michigan, so there's not too much hockey in Lexington or Chattanooga or Charlottesville. But maybe I need to move more north, get closer to the Great White North where y'all are. But how it felt to kind of turn it around, like I said earlier, it was very exciting, and I think that turning point. Mosport was where I knew and recognized the threat Dylan was presenting for the whole season. He was putting up fantastic laps. I knew where I was stronger in that race. Obviously had that incident driving into the rear of his car, which thankfully didn't damage his car and only damaged my front wing coming out of Moss. And I ended up having to pit earlier than scheduled to try and stay on pace. And then I had to make up 2 laps of fuel, so I don't know if I made the right decision there. But stayed behind him until that last lap where I just went and did it again. But that really showed a lot there. When we were at... Gateway was fun not too long. The recent races come to mind more. But the ovals mid-season really kind of opened my eyes to okay, there's a chance at this despite, Texas and Barber being DNFs. basically DNSs. They didn't make it to turn one at Texas, and I just made it past turn one before taking some contact from the rear at Barber, and it looked like it was possible, but I knew it would be a fight. And honestly, I didn't know it was going to happen until I was running the math earlier this week. There was a lot of luck at Gateway last week. That last lap was chaotic, and I had a very interesting restart. I know I contributed to Mike, Kyle, and Andy no longer being able to race, coming down a little bit too low on Mike there. Like I threw that out as soon as I saw the replay on the chat, just so everyone knew. I'll be the first to throw my hands up when it's my fault, and that one was clear. So I felt terrible about that. Ended up behind some traffic. Thought I had some damage. Went to the pits. Didn't have anything, so drove right back out. But got really lucky, and it's insane. Like Ty's win, I would never take that 0.003 or hundredths of a second win from him for anything. It was absolutely insane. But Dylan's posed a threat all season. He's been fantastic. But we've had very similar bouts with luck, I'd say.
So, Jordy, is that all you got? As I wait for him to type or say something somewhere. I think that's all. Okay, he says he thinks so. That's all you got. The only other question I really have is, Charlie, this is your final opportunity to do this for quite some time, I suppose. Who would you like to thank for being able to come on out here every single Tuesday night and be able to put on a show and, just put on the best performance that you can?
Everyone. Like I've been thinking my wife, and she definitely deserves all the credit, so I'd love to just throw that out again. But honestly, it's everyone who's showing up. It's you and Jordy. It's everyone showing up every week to run the series, putting in the practice. Daniel putting in the time to make this series work. Jason taking over to keep driving things forward to give Daniel a bit of a break. There's a lot to put this whole thing on. So I think everyone deserves a bit of something for just constantly putting in the effort. It's not easy. Even racing, right? Sitting here playing a video game, essentially, it's a Tuesday night for some folks. That can be a commitment. When I was doing the Pro Series, I went and talked to my boss, hey, I got to play video games for 10 weeks in the middle of the work week. Is that okay? He told me, of course. You don't have to tell me why, but it was still... it's... Everyone makes a commitment whether you're enjoying it or not. Everyone's family, isn't seeing them for bouts of time. So I just appreciate everyone taking the time to come out, race, put on this whole series. It doesn't go without notice, and it's awesome. It's appreciated. I'm proud, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Absolutely, man. We're absolutely great to have you here as well. The character that you bring in, the talent that you bring in, these testimonies, everything. It's an absolute honor and privilege to have you racing here with us within the Canadian Motorsports Network, and it was more than fitting, well deserving for you to become to hoist a Greg Moore Cup and earn a Darts Series Championship. So with all that being said, that does it here for the final post-race winner interview of this season here for the Canadian Motorsports Network Darts Series on iRacing. The season finale, the Grand Prix of Monterey at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in Central California. It goes to the number 32 499 Racing Chevrolet of Charlie Sears, who also is the second annual Greg Moore Cup champion. Charlie, once again, thank you very much, and congratulations as well. Go celebrate this one well, and we will hopefully see you racing with us once more in the future, in the new year, in 2024, a couple months' time. But during this well-deserved break that we're all going to be having here, just enjoy yourself. Keep up the efforts that you're doing, especially in that iRacing series that you participate in. We'll be cheering you on always. And once again, congratulations. Well deserved. Go celebrate it well, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one, and see you when the next season starts.
For sure, man. And so with all that being said, that was the post-race winner interview right there with the number 32 of Charlie Sears. I'm going to see if we can get Jordy to come back here into the booth. I'm going to see if we can get our faces here maybe one more time, unless his technical gremlins are continuing. Yeah, maybe for a minute or so. So we'll just wait and see here. Try and get him back in here one last time. Might as well get some more aerial action because we won't have any more of that here for months on end, because all of us here at the Canadian Motorsports Network are going to get a well-deserved break. We're going to have some off-season racing, of course, heading into the new year that will not be broadcasted because, again, all the staff here, the competition committee, us here, Jordy Caraher and I in the broadcast booth, we all certainly need a break because we have been constantly going out here for weeks and months on end between season 4 of the NASCAR series and also season 2 of the Dart series, both on iRacing. Our first 2 seasons on the iRacing service, a hell of a challenge to take on, but we certainly prevailed through it after all the hell that we went through in the console era. And as I'm saying all this, Jordy Caraher, do I have a copy?
I hear you. What about you hearing me?
Well, if we go back to our faces here one last time, yes, I do hear you indeed. There's the thumbs up, yes. Jordy, so that was our final post-race winner interview there with Charlie Sears, of course, and that was the final race of the season here for the Dart Series, man. Finally, our run through 2023 in the Canadian Motorsports Network has officially come to an end. One season of NASCAR, a season of Dart racing. I guess there was also technically Formula One on the console side there as well. But just, Jordy, the run here through 2023 finally comes to an end after all those weeks and months of, I had a certain way of putting it, but just grueling through all of it, and we were able to make it through 2 seasons, full seasons of iRacing now officially completed. We were able to prevail through the transition after all the hell that you mostly experienced in the past couple of years on the console side. Jordy, the best I can say is we made it, and what are your overall thoughts now as we head into this well-deserved break that we're all going to be getting within the network?
Well-deserved is very much the first thing I'm thinking. Because, yeah, it's one of those weird things where, they say it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's often a quote. This is a marathon that felt like a sprint. Like, there was a lot that was going on, and it all felt like it had to happen fast. But, yeah, there was, a steep learning curve, not just for the drivers moving over to the iRacing service, but also me specifically, in terms of kind of getting used to the new configuration, the different roles, first of all, us switching the responsibilities on air. So there was a lot of that kind of came into play as well. But, through 2 seasons, however many weeks it's been since we started season 4 of NASCAR, and now it's, as you say, it's been an absolute grind, but, we've made it through here. We've, gotten, 90% of the kinks out of the way. And, the most important thing is that we've had fun with it, and it's been, received pretty positively among our little community, our little corner of the internet. And yeah, here's to 2024, potentially seeing it grow even further.
Absolutely. Hoping, again, Season 5 of the NASCAR Series and then Season 3 of the Dart Series as well, heading into the new year 2024 between the spring season and also heading into the fall as well. But, so yeah, I'd say with all that being said, that pretty much does it for us here in 2023 within the Canadian Motorsports Network. Tonight was the final live production that we will be producing here this year, and also as well for 2024 we will not be running it back again until maybe about, I would say, March, April or so for Season 5 of the NASCAR Series. Again, this well-deserved break that we're going to be getting for the winter months, as we also, a lot of us continue to deal with other life priorities. So all the grinding that we went through, finally getting that break, well-deserved for sure, but it's also a reward for all the hard work and the fun that we put in and had throughout this year of 2023. Certainly really putting in a lot of steps, pushing ourselves a lot of steps forward here within the network, transitioning to the iRacing service and really truly enhancing these broadcasts that we have every single Tuesday night. So with all that being said, that does it for us here in the broadcast booth. I am the main voice of the network in Regan McCauley from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. On the other side, it is the color commentator. He's been here with us since the very beginning, Jordy Carraher. I guess, on the other side of the country for the most part in Alberta, but here on Prince Edward Island for the holidays, of course. But Jordy, I'd like to say once again, thank you very much for the transition, especially to color commentator, keeping up the educational and the educational, statistical, mathematical, all the above insights. It really helped me out in my transition to becoming the main broadcaster and play-by-play guy here within the Canadian Motorsports Network. So there's you, and then there's the competition committee for the network, other staff members, sponsors, partners, drivers, and then of course to all of you, the fans, the audience that were with us every single Tuesday night to really enjoy and witness our live productions here for the network. We'd like to thank each and every one of you and everyone else mentioned for being with us within the network this year in 2023. And now it's time to get a well-deserved break. And I guess as the final salute, we will play this little teaser video that we already did release last week, but 2024 is going to be a new era for the Canadian E-Motorsports Network, and we will end this live production off by teasing 2024, just a bit of a subtle teaser. And with all that being said, we thank each and every one of you for supporting us along the way. We will no doubt continue to be bigger and better in 2024, especially with this transition to the iRacing service. So once again, thank you very much, everyone. Take care, have a good one, and we will see you in a couple months' time when we return for Season 5 of the NASCAR Series on iRacing. We'll see you in a new era of the Canadian eMotorsports Network in 2024.